Shappy from Standout Running. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today I'll be talking about one of my personal favorite brands, and that is Tracksmith. If you don't know anything about Tracksmith, Tracksmith is kind of the Lululemon of running. Um, it's kind of expensive just by putting the name on it. Don't get me wrong, Lululemon has some very quality stuff, some of the best shorts in the game, and also, I love the Tracksmith stuff. Um, However, I did see in the news that like Lululemon's going to start being sold in Targets, I think. And does that make Lululemon not as good, or does that make Target even better? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Target. Target is the Toys R Us for adults. Um, but just I wouldn't expect Lululemon in a Target. It doesn't really mesh. All right. Another thing you won't see in Target is Tracksmith. All right. So Tracksmith is they consider themselves an elevated brand. Some people do not like them. Some people do. So that's kind of the way for everything. Either you like it or you don't. So that was a terrible description. That was really bad. Anyway, it's a brand that started in New England, and they pride themselves for being for the common runner, the amateurs, the Roger Bannisters, if you will, the men who have to work and run. However, their prices are not friendly to the common man. In fact, they're a little bit high. Now, obviously, Tracksmith started focusing on clothes. They were a fashion company. However, they have released some shoes, and believe it or not, these shoes are more than solid. Dare I say, very good? Good. Very good. It's in the B level. It's in the B plus. We'll get to that. Anyway, so the first shoe they came out with was the Eliot Runner. They are all named Eliot. I don't know the significance of Eliot. I should look that up, but I don't know who Eliot is. Anyway, the first one was a daily trainer. It is a narrower shoe on the firmer side. In fact, I actually got it for my wife for Mother's Day, and she has a very narrow foot, and she loves the fit of it. It fits her very well. However, she said she would never run in it. She prefers a lot of cushion underneath, so she's using the Asics Nimbus. Actually, to be honest, she hates just running in general. Just detests it. Absolutely hates running now. But if you see us together, you would think she was the runner. I'll get her in a video. It's honestly not fair. It's not fair. Yeah. The other shoe they came out with is their Eliot Racer, which is the shoe I will be talking about today. I do believe they also have a trail shoe, but I don't know much about that one. Even I might be making it up. There might not even be one. But I do know that sometime soon, possibly, I've seen the version of it and felt it. Is going to be the Eliot Rider. Got to keep that Eliot branding. That is going to be their max stack cushion shoe, and I think it's going to be pretty good, especially because they have the same technology that goes into this shoe. And so let's get into that. All right. So the Eliot Racer came out to little fanfare. Not a lot of people talked about it. It's a very niche shoe. Tracksmith made a lot of bold claims with it. They said it is the highest energy return tested in a lab. Their lab? That makes sense. Any lab? No. Their lab, yes. Any lab, no. So they need to clarify that. They also said there's no theatrics to it, unlike other super shoes. And I don't know what they mean by theatrics, because they have everything else a super shoe has. They have an upper, laces, cushion, carbon fiber plate. I don't know. I mean, they mean like extra colors. So I'm not sure what they mean by that. But it is a minimal shoe. I agree for that. You don't. It looks like a shoe, and it is a shoe that you can wear all around town, and you would look nice. You can even dress these up and wear them to a business deal. And there's other color options that are just as nice. But make sure you do that with the daily shoe, not this shoe. Because one, this is way too expensive for that, and two, um, it makes a lot of noise. It's a very like my dog's chew toy makes less sound than this. All right, so let's get into the specs of the shoe and really make this thing fly. So the overall, the shoe is 7.7 ounces in a men's size 9. That's 218 grams. There's a 38 millimeters in the forefoot, and I'm sorry, the heel, 38 millimeters here, and 30.5. It gives you a 7.5 millimeter drop. However, there is a trick with the stats, and that comes from the insoles, because this is where a lot of your cushion comes from. That's a lot of your stack height there, and this is sitting directly on the carbon plate. So this is your cushion that drops into the shoe. They call that their floating midsole, and this is actually how they're going to, I'll get that in later. This is actually how they're going to design their max cushion shoe, where they're going to have like a massive wedge of foam in there that will be your cushion, and then it's just a shoe. So it hides a lot of stack in a lower looking shoe, which is a nice feature. You know, we don't want to walk around in these mountainous shoes all the time. Even though it is a high stack, it doesn't look like it. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't just some cushion they throw in there. This isn't your Dr. Scholl's or anything like that. This is made of the ATPU foam. So it's a very nice cushion. Now it's got inscribed in it, training doesn't happen in a vacuum. We push our limits in workouts because we know that the race will test them even more. Race day is sacred. It's the ultimate expression of a runner's faith. Towing the line tests our belief in the work we've done, in the speed work we've summoned, and the toughness of our mind. Ultimately, we race because we believe that the physical and the mental demands of racing lead to a richer and more thrilling life. Chasing personal records keeps us hungry and humble. It makes us better human beings at every level. Pursuit of personal record is running at its best. I regret reading that all. Probably half of you turned me off by now, or just go ahead and fast forward to more about the shoe, which we'll do now. All right, so you have the ATPU foam here, and then you have the Pebax kind of foam there, that's kind of situated underneath the carbon fiber plate, which is right in there, and you know, nice and stiff. The upper is, like you said, they are known for their stash. That is very prevalent on all their clothes. So if you see that stash, then you know you're looking at something Tracksmith, or they've got their little fancy bunny on there. Now they do make it very nice. It's an engineered mesh. It's an engineered woven mesh upper. So it's a very nice material. So you can see why they have the price that they have, which we'll get into in a second. All right, and they have a micro suede collar. Like it feels nice. It's very nice. It feels very good. Um, does it change? It's kind of like people how they're like, is this an Egyptian 1000 bed sheet feel or cotton? I would have no idea the difference of it. I don't know what the difference is. I just know that it feels good. It works. So good on them. All right. This is a little bit narrower, but not too bad. The upper does pull down very well. One thing really neat about them is they're if in person you kind of see it. I really doubt you go see this on the camera, but their laces are kind of like in a waxy material, so it holds down very well. Like it's almost as good as a sawtooth laces. Like I have never had to retie this shoe once or feel like the laces are loosening up. It is a nicely gusseted tongue in there, so that's always appreciated. So it does have like kind of a booty fit to it. Um, it is on a little bit of a wider platform compared to some shoes. Even though the fit feels a little bit narrow, it is a very stable shoe. So big plus on that. The one big drawback to this shoe is that the price is around $275. That's a lot of money for this shoe that does everything well, but not super. This is a very beginner friendly carbon plate shoe. This is probably one that most serious racers would get as their training shoe and use this just for training. However, if you are someone who's on the fence and like not sure if you want to get a carbon racer, this is a good choice, even though the price is pretty bad. Now, there's other shoes similar to this that are actually a little bit cheaper, and we'll get into them. But uh, this is a great beginner shoe, and it is nice and plush on the bottom. You would hit in the heel, fine. You can heel strike with it, but it's really nice here. And as you can see by the foam, you see most of that cushion is up on the forefoot, so it encourages that mid to forefoot strike. Right. So let's talk about some other shoes that you can get instead of these pricey babies.
The first shoe to compare it to is the Saucony Endorphin Pro 5. Now, there are some similarities, but of course, there are some differences. One similarity is the weight, and that is actually lighter for the Pro 5, which is actually kind of surprising. You get about the same stack height in the heel and the forefoot, 38 to 39, 31 to 30. The differences are that the Pro 5 is more friendly to a heel striker, whereas the Tracksmith is more friendly to a forefoot runner. However, both these shoes are comparable because they are on the friendlier side. They are both have good stability to them. I would say probably by speed wise, you might get a little bit more going for the Endorphin Pro 5. I'm sorry, the Speed Pro 5. So I would probably choose that if you're looking for a more speed shoe, but if you're looking for comfort and something you can use daily on your training, I would go for the Eliot Racer. The next comparison is one of my all-time favorites, the New Balance SC Elite version 5. There are a lot of similarities to this shoe. However, the New Balance is lighter with 7.1 ounces compared to 7.7 ounces. The stack height is lower overall, with the SC Elite going with the 36 in the heel, 32 in the forefoot, and the drop is lower with a 4 millimeter drop compared to a 7.5 millimeter drop. So I prefer a bit of a lower drop. Now, the comparison is they are both very stable, they are both very beginner friendly, and they both are not quite the fastest carbon racers you can get, but they are two of the more comfortable ones. Personally, I like the fit over the New Balance. I like the fit of the New Balance more than the Tracksmith. So that would be my top choice overall, but you're getting similar feels.
Let's give it an overall rating. So for looks alone, I give it an A plus. All right, it's different. It stands out. I always like a shoe that you can just that you can just finish a race and walk around in all day, and it looks nice. It looks very nice. So anytime I can get away with wearing like running shoes to work and look professional is a big plus for me. So I'm giving that an A plus. Now at the same time, I do love my wild, crazy colored shoes. So maybe this would wear off, but for the right places, this is a great look, and I do like how simple it is. All right, so it's an A plus there. The fit, I will give a B plus. Again, it's kind of this stash. You can feel the stitching on the inside. And so it kind of rubs the side of my foot. Not enough to make me get any blisters or anything, but it's annoying. It bothers me. I notice it. So I think they can do something to fix that to make it a little bit better. I do think, no, the laces are fine. It's fine with it. Yeah, I think just a little bit narrow, and that rubbing gives it a B plus. All right, the feel, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a shoe that's going to get you to the front of the race and you can push and push hard, this is not going to be the shoe for you. If you're looking for a shoe that's going to give you comfort as well as speed, then this is a nice feeling. Myself, I like the ride. I'm very much a forefoot runner. I like how bouncy it is on the forefoot, so I'm giving that an A. That is my preference. All right. So then comes their price. The price I give a C to, because again, 275 is a lot for one of these. I mean, that's kind of the going rate now. Maybe it's not that big a deal. Maybe that's fine. Um, I just feel like with so many other shoes out there that are like at the 250 to 260, 275, and a better racing shoe, I would reach for them before this. But this is called standout running. So I am giving this a shoe a lot of appreciation because this shoe will make you stand out. As of all my racing, I have yet to see another runner in a Tracksmith shoe. And I don't think that's because the Tracksmith shoe is not good. I just think a lot of people don't know about it. They need to market better. Um, just do a better job getting out there more. Maybe be sold in Target. Maybe that's the next move. So if sold in Target, everyone's going to get it. Target's the new running store now. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to my review of the Tracksmith Eliot Racer. If you are interested, I would definitely check it out. If you're looking for a friendly, kind of beginner carbon racer, this is your guy. Thank you.